Outlander fans, prepare yourselves for the most shocking revelation yet. Could Faith, Jamie, and Claire's lost daughter really be alive? With the weight of her loss haunting them for years, a mysterious letter sparks a dangerous journey into the past. But as they dig deeper, dark secrets and dangerous enemies threaten everything they hold dear. Outlander Season 8 begins with a bang, pulling viewers right back into the world of Jamie and Claire Fraser. But this time, things feel different. The opening scene immediately dives into the emotional complexity that fans have come to expect, giving us an all-too-familiar glimpse into the lives of these beloved characters. But this season, everything is about to change, and it all starts with one thing: a letter. This letter arrives at Fraser's Ridge unexpectedly, unsigned, and written in unfamiliar handwriting, with just 6 chilling words. "She's waiting for you." At first, Claire thinks it is a cruel prank, a twist of fate, or perhaps some sick joke played by someone who knows about her grief. For years, she and Jamie have carried the heavy weight of their daughter Faith's death, a loss that has defined so much of their existence. The loss of Faith, their firstborn daughter, has haunted them both relentlessly, leaving deep emotional scars that never truly healed. For Claire, who always tries to approach life with reason and logic, the arrival of the letter sends her mind racing. Her first instinct is to dismiss it. It must be a mistake, or worse, someone toying with her emotions and exploiting her vulnerability. But Jamie's reaction is different. As soon as he sees the letter, something changes in him. He remembers a conversation from years ago, one that he had buried under layers of grief and time, a conversation that he never truly understood. Could it be possible? Could Faith have survived after all these years? His guilt over not being there for Claire in the moment of Faith's death weighs heavily on him, and he has always blamed himself for leaving Claire alone in that devastating moment. But now with this letter, a tiny sliver of hope emerges. What if their daughter had never really died? Could Faith truly be alive? This glimmer of hope is enough to pull Jamie and Claire into a journey neither of them is prepared for. Jamie, usually the more cautious of the two, feels his heart race with a mix of disbelief and wonder. Could the impossible truly be possible? The search for answers takes them deep into the past, revisiting painful memories and the untold secrets of their lives. But they soon realize that this journey will not be an easy one. It is only the beginning of a much larger, more dangerous path, a path that leads them straight into the heart of secrets that have been buried for years. Claire, ever the logical one, begins to question everything. Her rational mind tells her that Faith is gone, that no miracle could reverse the reality they have lived with for so long. But there is another part of her, the part that has witnessed the impossible time and again, that refuses to let go of the thought that Faith might still be out there. As she ponders the possibilities, Claire becomes more and more consumed by the idea of finding answers. Could she really be alive? Or is this just another cruel twist of fate meant to torment them further? The first step of their search brings them face to face with an old acquaintance, someone who has been connected to their lives for years: Francesca. In Season 7, Francesca had dropped a cryptic mention of Faith, causing Claire to wonder if there was more to the story than she had ever realized. Now Claire confronts her, demanding answers. But Francesca is evasive, carefully choosing her words and refusing to provide any real details. She warns Claire that some things are better left in the past, that some truths are better left buried. But Claire won't let it go. Not this time. If there is even the smallest chance that Faith is out there, whether in this time or another, Claire must know the truth. There is no turning back now. As Claire presses Francesca for more information, she realizes that she's getting closer to something, but she doesn't know what. Francesca's cryptic responses hint at something much deeper, something dangerous. Every answer only leads to more questions. As they dig into the past, Claire and Jamie soon realize the truth may be more than they ever bargained for. They have uncovered a dangerous web of secrets that stretches much further than they ever anticipated. This is no longer just about the loss of a child. It is about something much bigger, something that threatens their entire family. As Jamie and Claire begin their search in earnest, they encounter people who seem to know more than they are willing to admit. Some refuse to speak, while others simply shut their doors. The more they press, the more they uncover the weight of a hidden truth that has been kept from them for decades. Everywhere they go, they are met with fear and silence. It is as if the very mention of Faith's name sends people into a panic. The deeper they dig, the more dangerous the journey becomes. They are no longer just searching for their daughter. They are unraveling a mystery that has been carefully guarded for years. In the midst of this turmoil, Claire and Jamie receive yet another chilling warning, this time from Lord John Grey. Always a trusted ally, Lord John's demeanor has shifted. He seems unusually cautious when the topic of Faith's potential return comes up. He warns Jamie that some things are better left buried, that digging into the past could uncover secrets best left untouched. But Jamie, ever the fighter, refuses to back down. He cannot rest until he knows the truth. And so, the search for Faith continues, even as the stakes grow higher and the dangers become more real. What neither Jamie nor Claire realizes is just how dangerous this search will become. With every step they take into the past, they unknowingly awaken forces that have been lying dormant, waiting for this very moment. Forces that have their own reasons for keeping the truth buried, and they will stop at nothing to ensure Jamie and Claire never uncover what has been hidden for so long. As the search for Faith intensifies, Claire and Jamie's journey takes them deeper into the shadowy corners of their past, revealing new layers of mystery neither of them could have anticipated. The letter that started it all now feels like a distant memory, overshadowed by the increasingly dangerous path they are walking. Every step forward uncovers more secrets, secrets that have been carefully hidden by people they once trusted. The first real breakthrough comes when they learn of an old acquaintance, a man named Corwin Montgomery. His name has been whispered among the locals, and Claire's curiosity is piqued. Corwin had been a close ally of Jamie's during the early days of the American Revolution, a man who had helped them in numerous ways. But now as they dig into his past, they realize that his connection to the Frasers is not as simple as they once thought. Corwin seems to know more about Faith's disappearance than anyone has admitted, and it is clear he has been involved in far darker dealings than they ever suspected. Jamie and Claire travel to Corwin's estate, a sprawling mansion on the outskirts of a small town. It is a cold, imposing structure, its walls steeped in history and secrets. As they arrive, an air of tension is impossible to ignore. Corwin's servants are unusually quiet, and the few townsfolk they encounter speak in hushed tones when they mention his name. There is unease in the air, as though Corwin is a man who commands both respect and fear. Inside, Corwin greets them with a mixture of warmth and suspicion, as if he has been expecting them all along. His demeanor is calculated, almost too polished, and it is clear that he is playing a game. But the rules are unclear. Jamie tries to bring up Faith, but Corwin skillfully deflects the topic, leading them in circles with vague references to old memories and unfinished business. It is obvious that Corwin knows something, but getting him to reveal the truth is like pulling teeth. The deeper Jamie and Claire press, the more elusive Corwin becomes. At times, he almost seems to enjoy the cat-and-mouse nature of their interactions, as though testing their patience and resolve. But Corwin's facade begins to crack when Claire makes an unexpected discovery. While exploring the mansion, she stumbles upon a hidden room, tucked away behind a false wall in one of the quarters. The room is dusty and filled with old books, documents, and artifacts from a time long past. As Claire sifts through the papers, she finds something that takes her breath away. A journal belonging to none other than Faith herself. The pages are filled with cryptic entries, written in a hand that unmistakably matches the writing on the letter they received. The journal reveals a shocking truth. Faith had survived. Will Jack's worsening health force him to step back from his beloved ranch? Or will it serve as a catalyst for his children and grandchildren to step up and take on more responsibility? It's clear that Jack's role in the family is shifting, but how exactly will this unfold? In some ways, this could mark the beginning of Jack's legacy being passed on to the next generation. After all, Jack has always been more than just a rancher. He's been a mentor, a father figure, and the embodiment of everything Heartland stands for. His teachings have shaped the lives of those around him, especially Amy, who has grown into her own as a horse trainer and businesswoman. But with the possibility of Jack's health becoming a long-term concern, Season 19 may explore the idea that the family must begin to carry on without him at the helm. This could mean more responsibility for Amy and Lou, as well as for the younger generation, like Lindy, who might soon find herself stepping into a leadership role she never expected. However, a lingering question looms over the show as Jack's health continues to be a topic of concern. Is Jack's time on Heartland coming to an end? As much as fans dread the thought, the reality is that a character like Jack, who has been such a vital part of the show, will eventually have to face the consequences of aging. If Jack were to pass away, it would mark the end of an era for the show, but also the beginning of a new chapter for the Heartland family. How will they cope without him? How will his absence affect the future of the ranch and the family he loves so much? The emotional weight of losing Jack could leave a lasting impact on the entire Heartland universe, and it's something fans are likely to feel as the season progresses. The drama surrounding Jack's health also ties into the larger theme of change. Heartland Season 19 has the potential to explore how the family reacts to this shift. Will they come together in the face of adversity, or will Jack's health create rifts that force them to confront painful truths? It's hard to imagine Heartland without Jack's presence, but the reality of his mortality is something the show can't avoid forever. The way the show handles this delicate topic will determine not only the tone of the season, but also the emotional resonance it carries for fans. The tragedy of losing Jack is a possibility that fans are reluctant to consider, but it's a theme that might be necessary for the show's future. If Jack does indeed face the end of his journey in Heartland, the show could take a powerful turn, focusing on how the family picks up the pieces after such a significant loss. On the other hand, if Jack pulls through and his health improves, it would be a welcome relief. However, his ongoing health struggles will undoubtedly continue to hang over the family, constantly reminding them of the time they have left with him. In the end, Jack's health will be a defining factor in the storylines of Heartland Season 19. Whether it leads to an emotional loss, a shift in family dynamics, or an even deeper appreciation for the man who has been the heart of it all, fans will be holding their breath. Jack's future on Heartland is uncertain, and that uncertainty is exactly what makes the next season so suspenseful. Can the Heartland family continue to thrive without their patriarch, or will they find a way to carry on his legacy and keep the ranch running? As Season 19 unfolds, one thing is certain: Jack's presence will still be felt, whether he's there in body or spirit. While Heartland has always centered around the core Bartlett and Fleming families, each season introduces new characters and conflicts that push them to grow, adapt, and evolve. In Season 19, we can expect the introduction of new faces, but these arrivals won't just bring fresh energy. They will also stir the pot, presenting the Heartland family with challenges they aren't quite prepared for. First, let's talk about the new relationships and characters we've already been introduced to, especially Nathan's sister. Her introduction in Season 18 has added a layer of complexity to Nathan's character, and in Season 19, it's likely we'll see her role expand. But with new family members come new tensions. Will Nathan's sister become an ally to Amy and Nathan, or will she bring conflict into the fold? Family dynamics are rarely smooth, and a character like Nathan's sister could easily create rifts within the already delicate relationships at Heartland. If she finds herself at odds with the family, it could lead to significant emotional fallout as Nathan tries to juggle his loyalty to his sister with his love for Amy and his responsibilities at the ranch. As if that weren't enough, there's always the looming presence of Heartland's ever-present rivalries. The business side of the ranch will continue to be a source of tension, especially Lou's conflict with the local farmers market. Their bodies may be confined, but their hearts and minds are free, still clinging to the belief that they can break through the web of lies that has surrounded them for so long. Inside her prison cell, Claire feels a growing sense of dread, not just for herself, but for the future. The weight of the situation presses on her chest, but it is not fear that fuels her. It is determination. The more she learns, the clearer it becomes that she cannot let this go. She has to know what happened to Faith, and she will stop at nothing to uncover the truth, no matter how many dangers lie in her way. Her thoughts are interrupted when Francesca appears again, her expression more solemn than before. It is clear that something has shifted, but Claire is unsure whether to trust this change in the woman's demeanor. There is still an air of secrecy about her, but Francesca's eyes betray something else. an understanding of the peril they are in. It seems as though the cage she, too, is trapped in is slowly closing in on her, and Claire is not the only one who wants out. Please, Francesca begins, her voice low, almost a whisper. You need to listen to me. There is much more at stake here than you realize. The society, they are not simply interested in Faith, they are interested in the bloodline she represents, the power it holds. Claire's mind races. A bloodline. The phrase echoes in her mind, pulling together the cryptic messages and warnings she has received since this journey began. Faith wasn't just another missing child. She was a key, a piece of a much larger puzzle. Francesca continues, the truth is, Faith's survival wasn't a mere accident. Her life was meant to be spared for a reason. The society believes she is the heir to an ancient legacy, one that predates even the revolution. There are rituals, prophecies, things no one dares to speak of openly. Claire's heart pounds. What kind of rituals? And why would they involve my daughter? Francesca hesitates before answering, her gaze flickering to the guard standing just outside the door, ensuring no one escapes. I'm not supposed to tell you this, but you deserve to know. The society believes that the bloodline your daughter belongs to is the key to unlocking an unimaginable power, a power that could reshape the very world we live in. You've heard of the ancient relics, haven't you? The ones hidden away for centuries? They are connected to this bloodline. If the wrong person gains control of them, they will have the power to overthrow kings, topple nations. The fate of humanity could be at stake. Claire listens intently, her mind racing to process everything. She had always known that Faith was special, that her daughter's existence carried some kind of weight, but she had never imagined it could be something like this. She wants to push further, to demand more answers, but the walls are closing in faster than she can ask the questions. Francesca glances over her shoulder again, her face pale as though she is being watched. Then she lowers her voice even further. If they find Faith, she says, her voice trembling, they will use her to unlock the relics. The society has been searching for them for centuries and they're closer than ever. They have people in high places, people who would sell their souls for the power those relics represent. Your daughter isn't just a victim. She's the key. Before Claire can respond, Francesca is gone, disappearing into the shadows, leaving Claire alone with the heavy truth she has just uncovered. A bloodline, rituals, ancient relics. The puzzle pieces are slowly coming together, but the picture is still unclear. One thing is certain. The world Claire once knew is no longer the same. She is up against something far larger than any of them. Meanwhile, Jamie sits in his own cold cell, his thoughts swirling in the darkness. The moment they had been taken had felt like a betrayal from Corwin. Jamie had once considered Corwin a friend. His betrayal stings in ways Jamie can't yet fully understand. There had always been something off about Corwin, a hidden agenda Jamie had failed to recognize. But it was too late now. The old alliances and loyalties were shattered, and in their place stood a terrifying unknown. Still, there is one thing Jamie knows for sure. The moment they get out of here, Corwin is going to pay, and whatever it takes, Jamie will find his daughter. The guards finally open the door to Jamie's cell, dragging him from the shadows into the harsh light of a small, sparse room. He's shackled, but his mind is sharp, focused. The shadows may close in on him, but Jamie's resilience is a force all its own. You're awake, a voice says from the corner of the room. Jamie looks up to find Corwin standing there, leaning casually against the wall, a smug smile on his lips. You were always too curious for your own good, Corwin muses, his tone dripping with amusement. I had hoped that by now you would have learned to mind your own business, but clearly you can't resist the lure of mystery. Jamie's heart skips a beat at Corwin's words. What's happened to Faith? He demands, his voice low but filled with fury. Where is she? What are you planning to do with her? Corwin smirks, the expression sending a chill down Jamie's spine. Ah, so you finally realize what's at stake, don't you? Corwin says. It's too late to turn back now. The pieces are already in motion. Jamie steps forward, ignoring the guards who try to stop him. You have no idea what you're dealing with, Corwin, he says. You think you can control this, but you can't. I'll stop you, whatever it takes. Corwin doesn't flinch. Instead, he steps closer to Jamie, his eyes cold and calculating. "You're too late. It was never about control," he says. "This is something bigger than you or me. The bloodline has already chosen. Faith will lead us to the relics. It's already begun." The weight of Corwin's words hits Jamie like a blow to the chest. Faith was more than just a child to him. Now she was the key to something that could shift the balance of the world. And the people who had been searching for her weren't just after revenge or power. They were after something much darker. As the guards lead Jamie away once more, he knows the battle is far from over. His heart burns with the need to protect his family, but now the fight has expanded beyond personal vengeance. It's a fight for the fate of the world, a fight that he and Claire will face together. The silence in the prison cell is deafening. Time seems to stretch, a cruel loop of fleeting moments that only deepen the sense of dread hanging in the air. Claire's thoughts swirl around the truth she has uncovered, her mind struggling to make sense of it all. She grips the cold stone walls for support, her fingers tingling from the chill. But there's nothing cold about the fury inside her. Faith isn't just missing. She's part of something much larger than Claire had imagined. A bloodline, relics, a society willing to destroy everything for power. Claire's stomach twists. It had been Corwin's betrayal that set everything into motion. She still can't wrap her head around the fact that the person she had trusted most was now standing on the opposite side, orchestrating the unraveling of their lives. And yet, despite the horror of it all, Claire is more determined than ever. She will not let her daughter become a pawn in some ancient game. Claire's thoughts are interrupted when Francesca returns, this time with a subtle urgency in her eyes. She steps forward cautiously, as if every move could be a risk. And yet there's an underlying resolve in her demeanor. It's clear that Francesca is no longer just an observer. She's part of this fight, whether she likes it or not. "Claire," Francesca whispers, leaning in closer, "I need to tell you something else. Something that Corwin doesn't want you to know." Claire's heart skips a beat. "What?"